Did watching tonight's debate change your opinion about who would be a good president or who's likely to win? Trump and Carson do lead the polling by quite a bit, and Fox runs poll numbers all the time. But I say polls are garbage. No, that's not fair. They're mostly done by good polling companies, and they're interesting. But when it comes to predicting election results, polls are not nearly as useful as prediction markets. The business audience ought to understand this. Prediction markets are things like the stock market and commodities exchanges. They are the most accurate predictors of future events because lots of people participate and guess, and they put their own money on the line. The prices change constantly, and today's price is the best reflection of what the future will bring. It's not perfect, but it's better than polls. In America, no good prediction market exists for politics, and that's because foolish Republicans banned Internet gambling, so the only real prediction market that works is based in England. It's called Betfair, and useful as it is to us Americans, it's basically unintelligible. The prices are in pounds, and it's tough to understand who's ahead. But look at this website. This is understandable. Well, that's because Fox producer Maxim Lott converted Betfair's odds into percentages so we Americans can process them. And as you see, Hillary Clinton's a huge favorite to win the Democratic primary. And on the right, you see she's a 53% favorite to become our next president. In the middle is the betting on who will win the Republican primary. Marco Rubio's the big favorite, not poll-leading Donald Trump or Ben Carson. Trump comes in second, but he's way down compared to Rubio. Then Cruz, Bush, Carson, and the others. Sadly, my first choice, Rand Paul, near the bottom. You can check these odds on my website at johnstossel.com anytime. They update every 5 minutes. Since the debate began, Rand Paul's up a little, so I can still hope. The betting, do you not agree? Do you agree the betting is more accurate than the polls?
I think it is. When you look back at prior election cycles, you can see that people who were leading in the polls during this time did not end up even close to being the nominee. Furthermore, these polls are mostly national polls, or they're polls of specific states. But the nomination process is state by state. It's a lot different than taking a national poll.
Electoral college. The first comment from a candidate at the debate that made me want to scream was this from Donald Trump.
I can't be, Neil, and the reason I can't be is that we are a country that is being beaten on every front, economically, militarily. There is nothing that we do now to win. We don't win anymore.
We're being beaten economically. What does this even mean?
Yeah, they say that America is the greatest country in the world, and yet we're far behind in China, right? So to me, I think Donald Trump is obviously just using, flashy rhetoric in order to get people to like him. They say that I think that he speaks at a third-grade level, which is what gets a lot of people to support him, and then all the other candidates tonight are talking in all these wonkish terms. But I think that if you look at what Donald Trump is doing, it's brilliant, because he's actually breaking through the barriers and getting people interested in politics. And while he may be politically...
But in a bad way.
Yeah, well, he's politically incorrect, and his politics are incorrect. But he has slayed the beast of political correctness, and I think that there's a victory there.
That's good. But economics is not war. We don't lose to China when they sell us stuff.
Yeah, the political correctness victory at what cost? Because, of course, when you look at his credentials, first of all, he doesn't have a record in office, and his recorded statements in books or spoken, we can't tell if this guy's for universal health care, if he's pro-choice, if he's pro-life. Where does he stand? And in terms of trade, he's obviously a protectionist. In terms of immigration, he's obviously a protectionist. When it comes to eminent domain, that's something he's abused.
It's going to be huge.
He's not
going to make America great again.
Exactly.
It's going to be huge.
It'll make your head spin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does talk about America losing to China. But, look around your house. Almost everything you buy is made in China at usually
is that
a very
a loss?
good price.
Yeah.
No, this is a very positive thing. What I do think what he does capture, and why I think he's got such popularity, is the sense of economic stagnation and economic anxiety, where the economy is not growing very much. People get the sense that they're not going to be able to save up money for retirement. I've heard that the average American has $1,000 retirement savings or something like that. So I think a lot of that economic anxiety plays into this sense that we're losing as a country.
On social media, I made a comment about Trump having no clue, and on Facebook, Richard Colacchio responded, "He has $10 billion. They don't give you billions for being stupid, John. How much do you have?" Just because his father gave him $1 million and he bet on real estate and made a ton doesn't make him intelligent about economics.
Donald Trump owns a company that has products that are manufactured overseas. So why does he want to restrict trade for other people but not his own company?
Right. More on the debates when we come back.